What's up, MEGO fans? Welcome back to the M.I.B. Master Museum. I'll be your curator today. Guys, we got a fun one for you. A blast from the past. Something we really normally don't do. A true vintage. Because vintage carded figures are so difficult to obtain, especially in decent condition, and definitely in condition such as these two figures are. But nevertheless, we got some fun ones that we've located for you. Guys, today we offer from 1973 the hit TV show, The Rookies, that aired on, I want to say ABC TV back in 1972. It ran from 1972 to 1976, March of 1972 to March of 1976. And it was a cool show. I knew about the show. Not quite. I wasn't too familiar with the action figures. As you can see here, we have one character's name is Willie. He's a rookie. And then we have another character, Terry, and we'll get those. We'll get the guys, the actors' names. As a matter of fact, we did some research for you guys. Let's see. Willie was played by actor Michael Octagon, if I get that name right. Michael Octagon. And Terry was played by George Stanford Brown. And just a cool TV show. I had to watch some episodes. I wanted to do some research and some more history on this show. These are not MEGO figures. They're MEGO style figures. These figures were created by LJN Toys. MEGO like 8 inches. But they weren't MEGO toys. LJN kind of took advantage of where MEGO could not obtain all the licensings, and during that period, the MEGO Corporation was really obtaining a lot of licensings, but they couldn't get all of them. So that's where LJN came in at and was able to kind of get licensings for other hit little TV shows during that time period. Emergency was another television show that LJN garnered the rights to and made the 8-inch action figures after. The Rookies are kind of familiar because they're a lot similar to the SWAT figures. And once again, SWAT was another LJN Toys release. And SWAT was a spin-off from the Rookies TV show. They had a cameo with a segment where SWAT was on there. And SWAT wound up actually getting their own TV show. But as a kid, I knew about the SWAT figures. As a matter of fact, my brothers had SWAT figures. I didn't have any. Sadly, I did not own any SWAT figures. I wish I did. And these guys kind of remind you of the SWAT figures. These are on kind of the tall carded figures. The tall cards. No backing. We'll spin this guy around. The Cardboard's very flimsy. Not much to it. And I obtained these guys, acquired these guys. I made a road trip to my favorite little toy store located in Cleveland Heights, Ohio, on Coventry. It's a toy store that some collectors are familiar with. It's called Big Fun Toys. And these two gentlemen were sitting way at the top of a shelf behind some loose Chips figures. Another great TV show. But these guys got my attention because they were mint on card, or I should say on their card. Mint on card. You can say mint on card. They've never been taken off their card. Although the cards are in not C10 condition. But you're talking about 44-year-old figures. So they look pretty good. So I didn't think I was going to be able to buy these guys. I didn't know the price. I had the attendant, the clerk, store clerk come over to grab these guys off the top shelf so I could see them, get a good look at them. And from what I could see, they look pretty good. But there was one thing that I needed to know, the price. And he said, well, you know what? For about $45, you can have these guys for $45 as a pair. I wanted both of them. Like you guys, I couldn't get one without getting the other, buying the other one. He said, for the pair, I'll give you $45 for the pair. That's a pretty decent price on 44-year-old vintage MEGO style figures. The only thing I noticed about these figures, and I did my research. We do our research here at M.I.B. National Museum. The discoloration of the boots. And every figure from the rookies assortment that I checked out online and did some research on, they all suffer from this discoloration. And it's the plastic that's been used to make these boots. So you get this discoloration on the boots. Now I could take this, remove this card, take him out and probably treat these boots. But then that would be defeating the purpose of why I purchased these guys in the first place. Especially a lot of the boots are going through that with this particular line of toys. So I was fine with that. Like I said, we've been getting a lot of questions. M.I.B, how come you don't do vintage figures? And really, the answer is really quite simple. We don't do a lot of vintage stuff because, for one, if I can't find it in this type of condition, and you're talking about these figures are nearly 50 years old and they're still mint on their card, sealed to their cards. If I can't find them like this, I don't want them. I've seen a ton of loose MEGO figures that look great. I have to have them M.I.B, and that's why I'm named M.I.B. So this is the reason why I don't do a lot of vintage figures, because for one, they're very costly, very expensive. I mean, you're talking about, for prime vintage mint on card MEGOs, you're talking anywhere from $800 to $1,000 to $2,000 on some of those figures. They're very, very expensive. So you would have about one or two items in your collection if you're going to do it, if you're going to go that route. And for me, I buy what I like, and we'll be getting more vintage figures in our museum. But really, as we see fit, as we see the need, or for us, it has to make financial sense to purchase some of these guys. And these figures are beautiful. As you can see, there was no such thing as quality control back in the 70s. You see there's a smudge there. There was no such thing as quality control back in that time period. Which made, which brought a lot of charm to these MEGO-like figures and MEGO figures. Because wherever the processing plant was at, manufacturing plant, they used what they had. If they missed a spot, of paint, oh well. So that's what you pretty much got back in those days. But let's look at the original price on these guys. I don't see any number out in front of that 99. So Toy City was giving these guys away, practically giving these guys away for 99 cents. Toy City. Crazy. Just beautifully done. It's just always a pleasure to really reach out and be able to touch, a part of history. And that's what we're all about here at M.I.B. Master Museum, really preserving the history of MEGO and the 8-inch action figure, And these TV shows were so cool back in the early to late 1970s. And we got a lot of awesome action figures from that time period. Guys, what do you think of the rookies MEGO-like 8-inch action figures? Do you have these guys? Are you looking for these guys? We did more research. We thought $45 was a pretty decent price. Once again, and we all know this as collectors, anything collectible is only worth what another collector is willing to pay for it. We found one of these guys. There's several more rookie action figures, maybe 2 or 3 more. We're looking for more of these guys, but in this condition, at a decent price, and then we'll be able to add more of these guys to our museum collection. So for now, these 2 gentlemen are the newest arrivals and the oldest vintage ones we have in our museum. But we did some research on eBay. Somebody's selling one of these guys in this condition for about $100. I think it was like $99 and some change they were selling one of these guys for. And it's no difference. As a matter of fact, the conditions of the boots are the exact same condition that you see here on ours. And that's what I'm saying. It's the plastic that that discoloration happens to those particular plastic of this boot. So he's selling his, this particular seller is selling his for about $99. And, we purchased 2 rookies that are equally in excellent condition for $45. So you do the math. It just depends on where you want to buy these guys from and where you want to get them. If you have them, hey, we would like to hear all about it. Leave a comment in the comment section right underneath this video. Guys, we appreciate you stopping by and checking out the video today. You know the routine, guys. Grab your favorite beverage. As always, kick back, relax, and tune in to the M.I.B. Master Museum channel. God bless. And keep collecting.